It kind of comes down to this, and this is what it's always reminded me of, and I catch a lot of grief from a lot of other people for saying this, but this is the way I truly feel. It all breaks down to serfdom. It's kind of like the old times when you had kings, and you don't hunt the king's deer, you don't fish the king's fish. Kind of get where I'm going. And it's really gotten that bad, where they've turned everything, into a monetary system, a way of collecting money, driving, hunting, fishing, hiking, walking, breathing, eating, everything. Everything has a fucking price tag. It's insane. It really is. And it gets to the point where, how are you supposed to survive? One of my biggest things is, and it's a dream of mine, is an off-the-grid lifestyle. Being self-reliant and self-sufficient. And whenever I talk to people about it, they look at me like, you're crazy. And here's something that just will briefly explain it. I took my daughter to a doctor's appointment. And when I took her to the doctor's appointment, on the form, it specifically asked, do you have electricity from the energy provider of my area? And if you don't, then you were putting your child in danger. But what if you had, like me, at the time, a solar system? Powered your house pretty much the same way. Is that still considered child endangerment because you're not getting provided a service of electricity from a company? Which one makes more sense? The fact that you're reliant on a service from somebody else, or that you're producing your own energy? In my opinion, when you're producing your own energy, it's safer than being reliant on somebody else for a service, especially if you have to pay for that service. Because what happens if you lose your job? You lose your electricity. What happens if there's a natural disaster that knocks out the power company? You're out of electricity. But this is how twisted it is. That people actually think this way. It's because they're so funneled and so brainwashed and taught from a very young age that this is the way things are supposed to be. But they're not. You don't have to build a home from timber, a stick frame building. Yeah, you can build a home differently. But there's regulations, there's building codes. And it's all controlled. It's controlled from the king's fish, to the king's deer, to the king's land. And all you are is just a temporary occupant, somebody that's just temporarily living in a king's house until you die. Then the king takes it back. It's kind of sick. It's really gotten twisted over the years, and I'm all about free markets, and I'm all about ownership. I'm all about being able to own a piece of property, don't get me wrong. But if you own a piece of property, you should own it, which means you shouldn't have to pay taxes unless you want to voluntarily pay taxes. Now, having a voluntary, tax system, say you want to be reliant on a fire service or police, you're going to have to pay your local area some money to provide you with that service. Nothing's free. And if they say it's free, it's just a joke, because it's not. And me and Shall Not Being Friends used to talk about a long time ago, and something he's mentioned a lot is, whenever you say the word mandatory, there's a problem. If things are voluntary, I'm good with it. As long as it's voluntary. There are no fines, there are no penalties, there is no jail time. It's voluntary. If you decide you don't want to be in the program, you can opt out, and that's it. It's as simple as that. If you give people the decision making and the control of their own lives and the ability to be self-reliant and self-sufficient, I think we as a nation, the United States, would be better off, period. But everybody just thinks I'm talking psychobabble, because it's better to be hooked up to a power station and pay somebody to keep you on life support than it is to provide yourself with your own energy. I don't know, man. It's just stuff I think about. And it's gone on long enough. And I've gotten to the point personally where I have a hard time actually being a, supporting part of society, I guess. I'm an outsider. I'm always in the woods like you see now, or I'm in my own little space doing my own little thing, because I don't understand why everybody thinks that the way that I want to live my life is wrong. Kind of get me now? I don't know. This goes out to anybody. Anybody can chime in. It's just one person's thoughts as they walk through the woods. Doesn't mean I'm crazy. Just means I don't really got a lot of people to talk to.